basically this enables us to understand people's preferred behaviors within the team. So actually, it's important to understand that these might not be the actual behaviors of the people which they exhibit individually, but these are the behaviors, are the preferred behaviors which they exhibit within a certain team. So if we think about a job, एक specific job जिसके लिए हमें hire किया जाता है, तो there are two main functions for a person in an organization. One is functional role and the second is the team roles. The functional role is what we do in a job in a certain scenario, and this is basically the job what we are hired for, and how we do it, that is our team role specifically. And in Belbin's theory, it's talk about more towards the second part, which is how we do it and in a certain team. So basically it identifies 9 team roles that individual can adopt within a certain team scenario, and then we talk about the strength and weaknesses or allowable weaknesses for each certain case. So the importance to study this is, in an organization we need to, in many occasions we need to make teams, in order that those teams work perfectly fine and deliver the results for which these teams are made for. It's very important to know the balance, और उस balance की base पे then we can see that we have a right mix of people in a certain team so that that team can perform the way it should be and it should deliver the results for which the team was initially made for. So we will go into details a bit more. So talking about three main categories which Belbin talks about, and as we have seen the study, we will not go into the details of the history of the study, so we will just focus what were the three main categories what Belbin um, categorized the people's behavior within team. So one main category is thinking oriented roles, action oriented roles, and people oriented roles. So the thinking oriented roles, these people are innovators of any team and they like new ideas, ignite spark of new ideas and opportunity in any team. Then talking about the action oriented roles, so these are the people who get things done, so they don't go into the idea generation, so they basically take the ideas from the thinking oriented role people, and then they put the things into action. And the third thing is people oriented roles. So as name suggests, they are social roles. Those are there in within a team, and they are the people who would like to work with people and they enjoy working, either it's within the team or outside the team. So now we will see the subcategories of all these three main roles we have just studied before we go into the details. So talking about the thinking block, are the people who are in category of thinking oriented roles. The first one is the plant, the second is monitor evaluator, and the third is specialist. We will go into the details in the next slide, but for the time being, it's only to know the names of these three categories under thinking oriented roles. Then action oriented roles, shaper, implementer, and completer finishers. And then the third one is people oriented roles, and in this category we have resource investigator, team worker, and coordinator. So moving towards the thinking oriented roles, the first one is the plant. So these are the people who really give the ideas, and they ignite the initial idea for any situation, and they tends to be very creative people. And um but there are some allowable weaknesses for these people, and that is that they are mostly introverted, and they want to stay alone. And um, you will see most of the time कि जी बहुत absent minded हैं, तो Einstein type जो लोग होते हैं, so those are termed as plant. Then we have monitor evaluators. So these are the people those basically take the ideas from the plant and then evaluate that idea logically. So they put a little bit logic inside the idea that either it's doable or not. And then they are a bit critical about these things. So they are more a bit strategic, and they judge things very accurately. So if this strength is too much, this turns into an allowable weaknesses, are the areas which they should improve. And that's might be that they are sometimes too much critical about the things and not readily accepting those ideas. Then we have specialist. um, One example, of course, for this specific category is जिस तरह से मेडिकल साइंस में होता है कि एक certain एरिया के स्पेशलिस्ट होते हैं. तो if you form a team for a bigger purpose, and then you put the specialist, so they are the ones who really go into details of a certain subject, and then they have the knowledge about it. However, if that specific subject is not needed, then of course these people don't contribute much within the teams. Then we have action oriented roles. Those people are really put things to the level that gets things done. We have the first category we have is the shaper. Those take the ideas and then give it a more um, actionable items out of it. And these people are mostly, they are very dynamic, and they put pressure on the teams to get things done. But definitely that pressure can turns into their weakness, because if they put too much pressure without any proper guidance, then that can be a lot of friction within the team. Then we have implementers. Those are mostly relatively much organized, and they put the things into in planner, and they're very efficient people. And and they are also pushing like the shapers, but they are relatively much organized in this category. However, as all of them are action oriented, so there might be little bit less flexibles to get things done. Then we have completer finishers. These are the peoples who typically give final touches to a certain process, a certain task. For example, the quality control guys are the peoples are such peoples are having this kind of mindset. Though those give little they give focus to the little details. Those are there in any project or any task. So we will quickly move to the third part, which is people-oriented roles. So the first category is the coordinators. They are, the natural leaders. So typically in a certain situation, they will come up to the occasion and take the lead of that teams or that group of people. And they are mostly extroverted, and they try to coordinate among all the people within the team. So one of the allowable weakness might be that they are putting then their own tasks to to the other people. Then the team workers, the name suggests, they are a sort of people which then coordinate and reduce the frictions within the team. If there is any issues, so they come up to the occasion, and then they are a bit more diplomatic and they try to solve the issues. But if the team is so big and the team, there are too much team workers, so then they will be, resolving the issues, but they will not reach to the conclusion. Then the last but not the least is the resource investigators. So uh, they are very enthusiastic and they want to explore new opportunities in a certain situation, and they are very typically very energetic. So, however, in a certain situation, this can turns into their weakness, where they can be over optimistic, and if there is no thrill available within the team or within the task, maybe they will lose their interest. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much.